Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode of That Settles the Issue. I'm Dr. Amir Rashidi and this is Pastor R. Dallas Green. And the first question I would like to ask is, what's the issue?
The issue today is the nation of Iran.
Oh yeah.
We've had a long history with Iran. We had very friendly relationships with the Shah when he was in power. And then the Shah was taken down, a revolution in Iran, and the Ayatollahs rose up. And then we, as Americans, know about the hostage crisis. For about a year, the embassy personnel were held hostage in Iran. And, the law of Sharia was implemented in Iran.
That's right.
And then a war broke out between Iran and Iraq.
Yes.
And since then, Iran's been known as the terrorist state, kind of exporting terror to all over the world, terrorists all over the world. And we most recently just backed out of a treaty with Iran to limit their nuclear weapons production. We also have now warships streaming toward Iran because of Israel intelligence that in the Persian Gulf there's an imminent attack upon U.S. vessels. So basically we would say as Americans we should just write off Iran, that they should just be a nation we have no dealings with. What do you think about that, Dr. Mir?
Well, I can understand the point of view from where I'm sitting and from being in America right now. I can see that. However, let me tell you what it was like when I was there, because I was 5 years old. I was 5 years old and I was sitting down to watch TV, and my favorite cartoon was about to come on TV, and I had my snack in front of me and I was sitting down, and we had a living room, we had couches, we had furniture, just like our house here, but our TV was one of those big tube TVs, with the knobs. So anyways, I don't know, 5 o'clock, the TV show was about to come on, and I saw the opening theme song start, and then all of a sudden the TV went blank and there was nothing but snow on the screen. And that was the moment the revolutionaries took over TV and radio in 1979.
They took off your cartoons.
I lost my cartoon. Propaganda. So now you got to think about, we're writing these people off, but that's who they are. They're little kids, they're adults, they're families, and a lot of Iran. Like I remember, shortly after that, we got in a car. This was probably weeks later. I was in the car with my dad, and we're driving to go to one of my friend's birthday parties, and we came around the corner and there was rioting and fighting and tear gas and police in riot gear on one side and people screaming and yelling on the other side and protesting and signs, and then I was in the back seat, and I remember looking out the window and I saw a guy stabbed. I mean, I didn't watch him get stabbed, but I saw him walking with a knife in his chest.
Wow.
I was 5 years old.
Wow.
So I remember that, and that's when it became real, because until then, to me, it was like a movie. I liked action movies like Rambo. I liked those things, but at that time, it really became real seeing that. And the war, yeah. I mean, Saddam Hussein said these people don't have a formal government. There's no military, because all the high-ranking military officials escaped the country after the revolution. So Iraq said, if we attack, we'll be able to take the whole country. So then whoever hadn't escaped from the military was in prison in Iran.
Oh.
And they went to them, these were fighter pilots, they went to them and said, if we free you, will you fly for Iran? And even though we just put you in prison. And they all said yes. They said, we'll do it under one condition. They said, we want to salute the old flag and hear the old national anthem one more time. And they did. They lined up. They put the old flag up, the old Iranian flag up, with had the lion and the swords on it. And they played the old national anthem one last time. They all saluted, got in their fighter planes, they flew, and they defended Iran. I don't think God forgets about people, and I know you know that. But yeah, it does seem hopeless there right now.
So the question in my mind, Dr. Amir, is how does hope come to the people of Iran? How did they move from being in a hopeless state to having hope, where there's something to live for, there's a purpose for their lives, they have a meaningful life?
Yeah, it's so difficult because I think they feel like they know God,
Mm.
but they see God differently. You know, they believe that the God they worship is the same God of Abraham and Jacob and Israel and all. You know, it's the same God that Jesus talked about, they think, but they think Jesus was a prophet. And then they say, but a prophet came and perfected that faith, which was Muhammad. So they feel like they don't need that information.
Yeah.
They think they know it all. They think it's just the advancement of religion going from Judaism to Christianity, and now as if Judaism was elementary school and Christianity was middle school. Now you're in high school, because then the Baha'is came and said, okay, this is college. And it's the next level in religion. But unfortunately, they don't realize truth is truth and it can't be disputed.
So Jesus, when he spoke to us, he said that if you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Jesus' way is a way of peace. So the way of God is to have peace with him and peace with each other. When he came to the cross, he broke down this wall of hostility between different groups, between Jews and Gentiles, so they could live together in harmony and unity. I really believe that God's desire is to bring peace to Iran.
Yes.
How would that happen? How would you see a nation turn from war to peace?
Yeah. I think it'll happen in people's basements. You know, well, a lot of houses in Iran don't have basements, but you know what I mean. They're probably in a back room somewhere, probably in a hidden place where 4 or 5 people get together and worship together and study the Bible together. And then these groups, little by little, will grow, and I think they'll start to change things. It's already happening right now. There's a lot of people waking up with dreams and visions of Jesus, and they are talking to each other, and they're surprised that they had the same dream. The other part of it is there's a lot of corruption in Iran right now. You mentioned that it's a theocracy. It's the Islamic Republic of Iran, and the law says there should be no drinking, and there should be no, certain movies shouldn't be watched, and so on. Yet when you walk through the city of Tehran, if you look up at the rooftops, everybody has a satellite dish. And they're all watching this stuff. And if you go into anybody's home, they have a liquor cabinet. Now these are devout Muslims who do not, but then it's the whole legalistic viewpoint of, oh, if I do this, then I'm going to hell.
Yeah.
However, I can go and sacrifice a lamb at the mosque and clean that sin. So I can keep drinking as long as once a year I go sacrifice a lamb and feed the neighborhood.
So the people of Iran really are not free. They're really living enslaved to their sin.
They are.
They have a secretiveness to their sin.
Yes.
But they believe their sacrifice. I wonder if there is a greater sacrifice that was made that's greater than the sacrifice they make of a lamb.
Well, and God provided that because they do believe in Abraham. I remember being well, first off, the sacrifice was Jesus Christ, the spotless lamb, the most perfect sinless person, and the Quran says that. The Quran says that Jesus was the only man without sin. So that means that he never did anything wrong. Not only that, he didn't lie, but he claimed to be God. So which is it? Did he lie or did he not lie? Because if he's without sin. So that aside, I remember in elementary school we would study religion and we learned about Abraham and how he had to take his son up the mountain and lay him down on firewood and slay him as a sacrifice. God said, take your only son, the one that was promised to him, take him up the mountain and kill him as a sacrifice. Man, and in his obedience, Abraham said, okay.
Yes.
And he took his son all the way up, and on the way up, or when he was up there, I think his son said, now they say that was Ishmael, and we know it was Isaac. However, the story that they taught me is in the Bible. He said, are you going to kill me? And he said, God will provide. God will provide the lamb. Yeah. And so he got all the way to the point where he lifted the knife and he was about to kill his son, and God said, stop. And then there was a ram with his horns caught in thorns.
Yes.
So then there was Jesus, who came with a crown of thorns over his head on the same mountain.
Yes.
Right? And he carried the cross that they nailed him to the same exact way. God provided that sacrifice. If they believe in that first sacrifice, how can they not believe in that second one? Because the second one was the blood that washed away all sin moving forward.
As God opened your eyes, Dr. Muir, God needs to open their eyes, the blindness they have, that they've been blinded to the truth. There's the veil that covers their eyes to be removed so they can see things as they really are. That there is a hope for Iran.
There is.
And it isn't Ayatollahs and law Sharia or sacrifices. It's really the person of Jesus.
It is. And they know that. They know that because it's in their heart. I think they've been exposed to it. And one day it's going to change. And it'd be great if you and I have something to do with that.
We'll talk about it next time.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I think that settles the issue.
That was really good.